Welcome to Voices in My Head on Page and Playback. So imagine building this fortress that is so structurally perfect and just so deliberately devoid of any human touch that you actually forget how to let anyone inside.
Right, like you engineer your whole existence just to keep people out.
Exactly. You view every single social interaction as this massive threat to your peace. But then, well, you encounter someone who ignores you completely.
Someone who doesn't even acknowledge that you were there.
Yeah. And suddenly you find yourself completely obsessed with finding a way to break through their walls. So today we are doing a deep dive into the source material, but we're doing something entirely unique.
We really are. We are stepping in as characters who actually live inside the head of the author, Manda Menzies.
And she is this brilliantly talented South African author, poet, lyricist, and storyteller.
Yeah, usually you will find our stories contained within the pages of the Wellspring periodicals, but Manda just has so many voices in her head that a few of us have finally found a way to pop out and visit you directly.
Which is so fun. So our focus today is strictly on exploring the book Ella. Specifically, we are navigating the events of Chapter 5.
Right, and the lens through which we are viewing this entire world is a character named Scott.
And it is a very intense lens, I have to say, because the chapter doesn't even start with action. It starts with observation.
Yeah, Scott was just standing alone, looking out at the sea.
But his mind is entirely consumed by thoughts of his neighbor from the night before. He is dwelling on this really intense, almost primal connection she seems to have with the elements.
He describes watching her as causing this deep physical feeling right in his bones.
Which is striking because, wait, this isn't a new neighbor, right? He's been watching her from a distance for years.
Years, yeah. All while she remained completely and blissfully unaware of him.
That physical distance he maintains, that is just the absolute foundation of who Scott is.
Oh, absolutely. He operates on the principle that distance equals safety. I mean, he harbors this extreme aversion to social interaction.
It's beyond an aversion, honestly, when he looks at the basic requirements of just, existing in a society.
Like the forced smiles and polite rules.
Yeah, navigating those rules just to make other people feel comfortable. He views it as an actual punishment. It's an arena he actively chooses to avoid.
It's like he operates on this closed-loop energy system. Anytime he has to expend energy on a polite conversation, it's a leak in that system.
That makes sense.
Yeah.
He is so intensely pragmatic about human beings. Like, for Scott, people have to serve a highly specific purpose.
Right. They must add tangible, measurable value to his life, or they just do not belong in his orbit.
Which is wild. His entire existence revolves around his art and his books, and any past attempts he made to accommodate others in his space.
Ruined. Totally ruined by his own emotional unavailability.
He actively withholds his emotions. The lifestyle he built fits him perfectly, but the architecture of it, it was never designed to hold the weight of another human being.
Which is exactly why his recent actions are so glaringly out of character, and why he's ruminating on them so hard.
Yeah, he actually left this neighbor a note.
And he retrieved wine from her house for her.
Right. I mean, for a man who treats total isolation as his religion, these are massive shifts.
They're rare catalysts for a connection he usually spends all his energy avoiding.
Which brings me to this analogy. It's like Scott is curating this impossibly strict VIP list where almost no one makes the cut.
No one at all.
So if he despises engaging with people so much, what exactly is the irresistible draw of this specific woman?
Well, to understand that draw, we really have to look at how he studies her, especially when he compares her to her company.
Oh, the friends.
Yeah, over the years, Scott has watched his neighbor spend time with a friend of hers who visits from the interior region.
And when those two women are together, whether they're on the porch or the beach, they share this incredibly easy trust.
They laugh naturally. They almost act as mirror images of one another in those moments.
But his internal monologue shows he is constantly comparing them. He notes that the visiting friend is softer, she's empathetic, she smiles easily.
Scott actually finds the friend comfortable to talk to.
Because she never asks any intrusive questions.
Exactly. There's no painful social pressure. But the neighbor, she is the exact opposite.
She really is. He describes her as being entirely inwardly focused, like almost disconnected from her own physical body.
And that inward focus is the mystery he can't solve. The friend is frictionless, but the neighbor's impenetrable nature is what fascinates him.
Which leads him to obsessively replay this highly confrontational encounter they had on the beach the previous day.
Right.
But wait, I have to push back on his whole mindset here. The way he analyzes these two women, it's entirely devoid of warmth.
It is very cold.
Yeah, like you said, he's fascinated. But he studies them like a scientist observing specimens in the wild. He is actively looking for a way to break through the neighbor's defenses.
Well, observation and categorization are the only tools he trusts. He approaches human behavior the exact same way he approaches a complex painting.
Right. So we get this flashback to the beach. And the mechanics of this confrontation are just intensely uncomfortable.
So uncomfortable. Scott walks right up to the neighbor and sits down, cross-legged, directly in front of her.
Completely in her physical space.
But she doesn't acknowledge him. She stares right through him to the horizon.
Just treats him like he's not even there.
So, to force a reaction, he aggressively hijacks her music.
Way he physically takes her stuff.
Yeah, he reaches out, removes her earphones, and takes her phone.
And while he has it, he casually notes the unfamiliar artist playing on the screen so he can look it up later.
Which is such a bizarre detail to focus on in the middle of doing something so invasive.
It really is. But the truly remarkable part is her lack of reaction.
Most people would panic or yell.
Or at least be visibly shocked.
Oh.
But instead of panicking, she just briefly looks directly into his soul and then shuts him out completely.
She just goes right back to her private moment, playing in the sand with her wine.
Honestly, it's like a high-stakes game of chess. Taking her earphones was this aggressive opening move, but her refusal to give him a reaction, that was the ultimate checkmate.
That's a great way to put it. Because he tries to escalate it later. He physically digs her out of the sand and pulls her up.
And she still avoids his eye contact and just flees to her house. But to Scott, this isn't him winning. He views this as a revelation.
Yeah, he realizes she wasn't hysterical. She was affected, but she was in control.
It was her sheer willpower to exist alone, even if the universe burned around her, that attracts him like a moth to a flame.
And seeing that level of control totally validates his own worldview, which brings up a great question. Is he genuinely attracted to her, or is he just captivated by her sheer willpower to ignore him?
That's the million-dollar question. Because that desire for control is literally built into the architecture of his house.
So true. The chapter shifts when Scott notices her car is gone. With her absent, he retreats into his own home.
And we get guided through the upper levels of this house. It is his ultimate safe haven from the outside world.
Every single item and color is chosen by him for its psychological impact.
There are no unwanted gifts. No decor forced by social pressure.
Just walls adorned with his paintings and sculptures, carefully grouped by their creation stage.
Interspersed with these meticulously curated bookshelves that he regularly thins out.
It's completely rigid. And then you get to the kitchen. It is clinical. Stone, glass, and steel with totally empty counters.
It sounds more like a severe modern art installation than a place someone would actually make a sandwich.
Oh, absolutely. The focal point of the kitchen is the island, with these striking bar stool...
The jawbone chairs.
Yes. They are unique artworks inspired by jawbones, featuring these distorted, smoked skull motifs burned right into the steel.
With black leather seats and backrests with curled horns, it is such a stark, masculine space.
The double-volume living room, the cast-iron spiral staircase leading up to a studio, it sets this incredibly cold, rigid stage.
So you have to ask, how could someone who lives in such a rigid, curated environment ever make room for another human being?
You really wouldn't think it's possible, but that rigid stage violently contrasts with the hidden depths waiting below the house.
Right, the descent into the basement is where everything flips.
We go down into the former basement, which is Scott's bedroom. And initially, the atmosphere is gothic and dark.
But it's surprisingly nurturing rather than threatening.
Yeah. There's this open-plan stone bathroom with a massive Roman-style square bath as the focal point.
Complete with overhead shower heads and a hidden toilet.
Yeah.
And the craziest part, there is literally no wall between the bath and his concrete king-size bed.
Just completely open, and the bed has this synthetic rubber-covered headboard.
But then, resting against all that harshness, there are these luxurious, colorful cushions.
The text describes them as a sudden cry of femininity in the hard room.
Which is our first clue. But then, we get to the hidden wardrobe behind the mirror doors.
It is a brightly lit dream of organization.
Oh, it's immaculate. There's a central island with pigeonhole drawers for cravats and jewelry.
Including single earrings.
And then the mirror cabinet opens up.
Unveiling his meticulous grooming supplies.
Wait, I have to say, this part was sheer surprise for me. The grooming supplies.
Skincare, mascara, eyeliner, and nail polish.
It completely pushes back on that earlier impression of him as this purely cold, isolated artist.
And it goes deeper. Behind the full-length mirror, there are hidden drawers containing his intimate collection.
Right. Erotic accessories, ropes of various textures, blindfolds, silk scarves, body paint.
Meticulously organized.
But the last drawer is the one that really got me. It's a fully stocked medical drawer that looks like a pharmacy.
First aid supplies, over-the-counter pain relief.
And sanitary necessities, which really makes you stop and think. What does this level of meticulous hidden preparation tell you about who he truly expects or hopes to bring into his most vulnerable space?
It proves that Scott Perkins is not a simple man. He's hiding profound complexities and careful preparations beneath that cold exterior.
He is prepared for total intimacy, but it has to be entirely on his terms.
Exactly. Which brings the story of Chapter 5 to a really clean close.
We leave knowing that Scott's meticulously curated environment is entirely under his control. He engineers everything.
But he's met someone who doesn't follow his script.
Right. So we want to leave you with a final, provocative thought to explore on your own. Since Scott's entire world relies on strict isolation and absolute control, how will his carefully guarded sanctuary withstand a genuine connection with a woman who refuses to play by his rules?
It's going to be a fascinating collision.
It really is. In the next episode of Voices in My Head, the next chapter of Ella will follow.
Yes. Please be sure to visit, subscribe, like, share, and support the independent creative storyteller, Manda Menzies.
Thanks for diving into the source material with us. See you next time.